My dad was addicted to alcohol. From a very young age, that's all I really knew. We didn't often, as me and my sister, we didn't often go to, school parties or discos, or, we never really had friends round because there was too much embarrassment. And, it meant that the relationship that I had with my dad was very disconnected, and he was so strict that life felt like we were walking on eggshells all the time. We never knew how he was going to react. We never knew what mood he was going to be in. And as a child, that makes you feel on edge all the time. You haven't got any power. You can't, you can't make changes. You can't just leave. You're stuck. You're stuck there. And for me, it was very difficult because my mum was also very scared of him. We were all scared of him. One of the habits that my dad had was to sit in his car in the driveway and drink. And he used to do this to isolate himself, and also because he was very secretive and he wanted to keep his drinking away from the family. So this is really typical of alcoholics. And alcoholic is somebody that is dependent on alcohol and is unable to stop without physical withdrawal symptoms. One of the things that we were most scared of, my older sister and I, was my dad drink driving with my younger sister in the car. And obviously at this point we were older, and so my older sister did actually report him to the police. But very often people that are dependent on alcohol will drink and drive. He unfortunately lost his job because of his drinking. And so as a result of that, my mum needed to find other ways to bring money into the house, which is super common. And so we ended up having quite a lot of foreign students stay in our home to bring the money in. Obviously, the money that my mum was bringing in, my dad was spending as quickly on alcohol. He also would be delusional in his behaviour. So what I mean by that is he would see things that aren't there. Me and my sister were walking up the driveway and he's like, "Who are these children? Who are these children coming up the driveway? Rosemary, who are they? What are they doing here?" Well, as a child, what the hell are you meant to say to that? What, it's just like, "Daddy, it's me." What? And just didn't know who we were. I think as a child, I wanted to speak about what was going on, and I actually tried to. I tried to speak to my mum, but she seemed to be, often in denial about what was going on, didn't know how to fix it, didn't know how to, make it better. And I felt very alone. For some reason, I found it super peaceful to visit cemeteries, and I used to go to where my nan was buried, and I used to just sit there and talk to her, and it gave me peace. Later on, as I was growing up and I was kind of coming up to my 21st birthday, I was working in a local company and 2 policemen turned up at work and sat me down in a room and told me that my father had passed away. And at that point, I heard the words, but I just went into autopilot. I didn't allow myself to really feel anything. I just acted, and I went and got my sister from school. I went and found my older sister and my mum, and then we kind of all just cried. He was still my dad, and it was a very difficult and strange feeling to be relieved that my dad had died, but also miss him at the same time. And the fact that he had been alone and that he had died from his alcohol misuse. It had damaged his liver. It had made him delusional. It had affected his brain. Alcohol impacts every single part of your body. So even though it's 25 years since my father passed away from his alcohol misuse, and I still experience the impact and the trauma of that, I am in the best place that I have ever been in, and I have been able to overcome some of the most difficult things that I've ever faced in my life through talking. That's what has helped me. I actually decided after many years of helping myself that I wanted to obviously share my experiences and my learning and help other people. So now I support families that have been affected by somebody's drinking, whether that's now or in the past, and I specialise in daughters of alcoholics just like me. Adfam are a nationwide charity, and so if you're affected just like I was, then please do get in touch with them online, or you can contact your local support services.